Hello, fiber fans, friends, and followers. My name is Beth, and I'm here to talk to you about all of the yarny things that I've gotten into recently. Today, I will be talking about what I'm wearing, as well as what I've been working on, and I have a whole lot of new to me things. So, I also will be announcing the winner of the most recent Sandy bag that I will be sending out to someone whose name I will draw. I have not yet done that drawing, so probably when I'm finished recording the episode, I will go ahead and draw a name, and then let's get on with it. Today, I am wearing the Sea Haven. This is a pattern designed by Jennifer Shields Toland, and I knit this a few years back. It was right before the first mini meetup I went to in the summer, so I wanted a nice summer top to wear, and I got to show that off there, and I love the texture on this. It's kind of hard to see, at least for me, without my glasses on and everything, but a lot of texture in the yoke, a very easy knit, all knit pearls. I don't think there was any like cabling or anything like that. It was pretty simple. So a good summer knit if anyone is interested in doing this pattern. The yarn I used was Santa Scarlina in the colorway Jelly Bean Green. So all of the details for that are listed below in the details, as well as everything that I talk about today. I will have links for pretty much everything. So if you want to know more about anything I talk about, just click down below, click the little more info button, and you're good to go. You'll find it there. Anyhow, that's what I'm wearing. Next, I have not an actual finished object, but a half finished object. I have been test knitting, and I talked about this on the last episode, but this is the Squiggle Wiggle sock. So I want to do a little hey, because I want to use that as a thumbnail. So if you don't see that as my thumbnail, it probably didn't come out well when I tried to screen grab it. So, Squiggle Wiggle sock. This is a pattern by Cozy Kitty Designs. You can find her on Instagram, and I know she sells her pattern on Ravelry, and I think there was one other place, but the Ravelry link is below. And I started these 2 at a time because that's just how I knit my socks. And then as time was running out to finish the test knit, I realized I wasn't going to be able to finish. So I did have the second one started. I've been working on this a little bit more. I've got a little ways to go in order to get to the heel here. Now, the way this design is, you put waste yarn in and just knit the tube down, then add your toe and come back later and add the heel. So she calls this her Bigfoot heel. I added, it's kind of hard to see in there, but it's a little, you can, in person, you see a little bit of a bump there. I added short rows to give extra room. She has directions in the pattern for this. Another way you can do that is she does give an option to add stitches before you work the, before you add the waste yarn for the heel. So there's a lot of great little tips and tricks in this pattern. So even if you just want that Bigfoot heel, I think that's great. She wrote the pattern specifically for self-striping yarn. This yarn is Turtlepurl Yarns, and it is, wait, let me look. It is in the colorway Cannonball, and I believe the yarn base is just called Merino Sock. So Turtlepurl Yarns is a Canadian yarn dyer, so I don't know if that's affected by tariffs, but I'd say take a look. When I bought this, it was before that, so I know I felt like it was a great deal for self-striping yarn. Which reminds me, I don't know if this sale is still going on, but Brenda and Heather Buy Yarns, they are running a sale on some of their self-striping stuff that they are, I think they're discontinuing some colorways. So check them out. I believe I linked them below because I did buy some yarn from them at YarnCon. So I'll be talking about that soon. So I think I said everything I needed to say about this, but check it out on Instagram or Ravelry and knit some for yourself. It was a fun, engaging knit. I really liked doing the pattern that gives it that squiggle wiggle effect. So Squiggle Wiggle by Cozy Kitty Designs. Go get it. The next, I guess we're still work in progress is what we'll call that, because it really wasn't a finished object. It was more or less work in progress, but I am working on the Berroco Mystery Knit Along blanket, and I am doing the 2nd January pattern. Now this one, I'm gonna pick that up so it's not clicking on the desk. I like this knit purl pattern. That's fun. So there are, I see now, I thought it was going to be 2 squares every single month. But then when the February patterns came out, I didn't look at it at first, but I was talking to Colleen, Selfish Knitter, who is also doing this blanket. And, this is Berroco yarn vintage in the colorway Oats. And what we were talking about with the February thing is it's like squares. It's nested squares. And there are 6 of them in February. So I imagine there will be some months where there's only 1 square, because I thought it was going to be 24 total squares. I may be mistaken about that, but I don't know. I'm almost finished with this square, and what I would like to do is make up some time and knit extra squares each month, and you know, hopefully I can get those done by the end of the year. My goal would be by midnight on New Year's Eve to have a new blanket completed. I wonder if December is going to be just knit them all together somehow. I don't know. Like I said, it's a mystery knit along, so we'll see what happens. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I have moved to any degree that you can see this behind me, but this is a new to me thing. I got a little shelf thing. I don't know how well you can see that in this shot. Can I zoom in on my video? No. It literally says on my screen, can't zoom in this mode. So there is, maybe I can in editing zoom in, but it's like a little bookshelf kind of, the shelves are sort of offset, so it looks like tree branches coming out. And so I got something to put my yarn on. So I thought that was fun. It was from Amazon, but I thought it would be a nice way to display my yarn. I actually thought it was going to be able to be seen in the background a little bit better than it is. And really, it's just very well back in the background. Maybe I could put it directly behind my rocking chair there. So if I had it in the corner, you could see it, but it's really not that much taller than the rocking chair, and then I wouldn't be able to see the yarn very well. So anyway, that's one of the new to me's. I'm getting ahead of myself. Next work in progress I have is the Traveler by Andrea Mowry, and I feel like this should be done. It is so close. So what I was working on the last time I think I uploaded an episode was the hood. So this is the hood, and you know, the whole body is done. All that's left to do is finish up this hood. It's a bunch of short rows. So I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah, that's definitely better. But I'm in the middle of short rows, and I hate stopping in the middle of short rows because it's so easy to lose your place. And every time you sit back down, you have to go, okay, wait, where was I? And you count your rows and everything. I'm trying to use stitch markers to mark things so that I know where I am, but it's hard. This is a lot of short rows. The reason I haven't finished this though is because I was so busy working on the sock, plus there was yarn con, so I was busy walking around and shopping, and then last weekend I went to Central Illinois and judged a baton contest, so I've just been busy, and you know, I have a job too, unfortunately. So this is the Traveler, Andrea Mowry. Speaking of which, anybody doing the new knit along that Knitty McPurly Devin is running, she said that she wants to start that. I don't know if it's on Easter Sunday is the first day of the knit along, or I'm not exactly sure what, but they are doing the, what is it called? It's an Andrea Mowry pattern. That's the only reason it comes to mind, but that does segue me nicely to the current knit along, which I believe ends today. Today is Saturday, April 19th, and I can see it way over there. I've got a gigantic bag here that has my project bag in it, but it's kind of silly for me to show this because this is as far as I've gotten on the knit along. If I hadn't been so busy, I probably would have gotten at least part of this done, but I've also been focusing on other things with the idea that I probably wasn't going to have enough time to finish this for the knit along. So I think it's time for me to move along. This is the Flutter Buttshirt by Jessie Maed Designs. I'm doing it in Knitty McPurly yarns, her slub yarns. It is her knit along kit that she offers, and yeah, I got nothing to say about it. Since you last saw me, I was having difficulty with gauge, and I'm over it. I'm over it. I probably will go back to it at some point. I don't know. It's not a priority right now because obviously I missed the knit along. But the next knit along is the Andrea Mowry. It's a cardigan that she wears with the buttons. You can button it in front or wear it like a t-shirt with the buttons in back. And I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it on the screen. But I have yarn to make what is quite similar to that in the knitting of it. The, what do you call that? The motif that she uses. So I think what I'm going to do is cast this on. My plan is to make Moon Mint, which is, I think, the pullover version of that. So these colors, Knitty McPurly yarn, I think, I don't know. I may or may not cast this on just to be feeling like I'm part of a knit along. I don't know. I go wherever the wind blows. Speaking of which, that's what prompted my question for the last drawing for the Sandy bag. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I did, in fact, maybe this is a better spot to put the drawing in. So we'll do that. Okay, friends, the names have been written and are ready to be hopping around the hat. And one needs to fly out at me to tell me who the winner is. And they will be winning. I think I might have already shown it, but this bag is being drawn today. I should have done another drawing for this episode, but maybe next week I'll have so much knit that I'll want to record another episode, and yeah, that's not gonna happen. These are like stuck in there. I think I'm gonna show you. I have, no, that one doesn't show it very well. I have like all this on there, so I'm wondering if they're sticking in the hat more because of that. But one will fly out, one will tell me it's meant to be. And oh man, one flew out and fell back in again. Right? Yeah, nothing's on the floor. There it goes. There it goes. Let's see who the lucky winner is. It is ta-da, Destiny London. Congratulations, Destiny. Please, I'll put my information somewhere on the screen, and just email me at pandemickknitter@gmail.com and I will send this out to you. So congratulations, Destiny. I hope you enjoy using this bag. Yeah. Woo! Okay. Congratulations to the winner, whoever you are, because I have not yet recorded that or drawn it or even written names down. But right now, I want to take a look at what some of you said about what you do in terms of works in progress. Okay. Always Yarn First, who is Lindsay, she works at Arkansas Yarn, and she says, I'm so the same with my making, all over the place, but you're always working on things you love. So true. Like, that's sort of how I want to be. And I didn't think of it that way until reading her comment. Because what happens is I avoid my knitting if I obligate myself to one thing. And I didn't do that with the test knit. I don't do that with test knits because I know somebody else is counting on me. So I kind of I feel bad for Shannon of Cozy Kitty Designs, because I wrote like gobs of things like, well, in this paragraph, I would do this. In that paragraph, I would write this. And I hope she took it the way it was supposed to be. It was not anything like to say anything bad, just, you know, constructive criticism. Always a good thing. Anyhow, as far as Kendra said, I wish I was inclined to clean house when I'm bored. because I had said that I was actually cleaning my house because I was avoiding my knitting. Yep, sometimes. Shannon, the designer of my Squiggle Wiggle socks. You've seen it, right? She says, I really do love the yarn you picked for the Squiggle Wiggle socks, and I can't wait to see them all knit up. See them now. I always have a bunch of whips because I like to have options. Every once in a while, I like to do a clean out and finish some stuff, but it really all depends on my mood at the time. When I'm in finishing mode, I like to make a checklist of all the components I have to finish. Toe, heel, ribbing, etc. Because it feels so good to check things off. So true. I am a list maker. I will sometimes just like make a spreadsheet, or I like to use Google Keep, where you can have the little check boxes and you check it off and it like disappears from your list and you see your list getting shorter and shorter. That's fun. I can't tell you though how many knitting checklists I've made where I've done nothing with it and I find it months later and I'm like, why didn't I just follow this? What's wrong with me? Okay. Midwest Multicrafter says, as always, it's fun to see what knitting projects you're up to. I've learned that I prefer having multiple whips that I can choose between, usually 3 to 5 active ones at a time. And I will say, reading through the comments, that is about the range that most people seem to be comfortable with. And I would say the same for myself, that typically speaking, I'll have maybe a pair of socks, a sweater, and some other, 1 or 2 other things that I'm like, okay, I like to have 2 simple projects on the go, because that way, like, let's say I get to the heel on one of my socks, then I still have that other simple project I can go to before going into the more complicated part of the sock. So those kind of things, I feel like you kind of need to have a couple of them on the go, because if you are someone who does like to have that mindless knitting available to you, 2 of those are always good to have. The Yarn Goes On says, hey Beth, always great to see you. Recently I found that I couldn't see your episodes in my subscriptions, but you're showing up in my homepage because I've watched your episodes and thumbs upped your episodes. Speaking of which, I welcome you to do that right now. These strange things that YouTube does. Yes, you guys check to see if you're subscribed. If you think you are, you may not be. I went from having over 500 subscribers to now just under 500 subscribers. It happens whenever I release a video, I lose a few subscribers. It's bizarre. I don't understand it. I mean, I gain too, but I also lose. And she goes on to say, as always, I'm happy to watch and catch up on all your crafting. Sharon says 3 or 4 projects in the rotation. Sandy says that she's been stalling on her 2 main projects. So she talked about YarnCon too. She said that she was saying that she was going to skip YarnCon because of traffic. And she said that April 5th was supposed to be a big protest day. She was 100% right about that. I went down there in the morning. Colleen and I, we had met the night before. We stayed at a hotel, Selfish Knitter. Hi, Colleen. And we took the train into the city. And in the morning, we saw a couple of protesters going out there. And then in the afternoon, when we were coming home, it was packed. The whole train, like everybody had their signs and everything. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is too many people. And when we went to get off the train, we had to run through 2 cars in order to get to a door that would open because we were at the end of the train that was off the, like the area where you could disembark the train. So that was kind of scary because it was like, okay, well, where are we going to end up? I don't know how this works. What would happen if we had to go to the end of the line? Does it turn around and go back? What, I mean, I would imagine we can come back on the train, but what a pain. And fortunately, we did not have to do that. And there was this other woman with us doing the same thing. We were like running through the cars to try to get off the train. Crazy. Anyhow, that has nothing to do with knitting. Well, it has to do with YarnCon, I guess. Eileen talked about my poinsettia. Look at it now, you guys. I think it needs a trim. I think if I what I think I need to do is cut the tops off, which means there would be no more red right now. But my understanding is they need 12 hours of light and 12 hours of dark for the red to come out again at Christmas time. So I just need to figure out how to do that. I feel like I probably could easily do the 12 hours of dark, but coming up to Christmas time, it's going to be harder in my latitude to do 12 hours of light unless I'm doing artificial light. So I don't know that I want to do that. We'll see. Deidre says, I knit on what makes me happy at the moment, unless there's a deadline for a knit I'm doing. Things will get done, but I need to enjoy the knitting. I have projects that are good TV knitting and complicated ones, so those depend on my headspace at the moment. Yes, I think like a lot of the comments reflected the same thing. So, hi Deidre, thanks for watching. I did not mean to get off into all of the comments like this, so I have not yet done my new to me, so I think this would be a good time to just go back and talk about my new to me. One thing that happened, this is actually more recent than YarnCon. I was talking to a coworker, and I told her that I went to YarnCon, and she was like, "Oh, my grandma, who has passed away, she knit my dish rag, and I wanted to know if you would knit one for me." So at the time, I had seen that there was a sale on Dishie, on Knit Picks. I don't know if this is a sale that is still going on. I think it was for the month of April, maybe not. I don't know. But I said, hey, pick one of these and I will order it for you so that I can order a whole bunch of things and get the free shipping, because it would be silly to get, I want to say it was less than $4. I know that much. It was less than $4 for this, and it would be silly to pay $5 of shipping to get $4 of yarn. So, I mean, I could have gone to Michael's or something and gotten some cotton yarn. I probably even have some cotton yarn that I could have used for this, but I knew this was on sale and I thought, let's go with that. So I also knew I could find enough stuff to get the free shipping. So what did I do? I bought enough stuff to get the free shipping. So I bought, let me see. This is their Woolen Cotton in this lovely teal colorway called Overalls. I did not write that on here. I didn't even see that it said that before. It's called Overalls. Why is this called Overalls? It does not, like, you would think that would be a denim color. This is very turquoise. This is probably my very favorite color, turquoise. And so I thought this would be a good one for the Clover tee that is the knit along for this year's meetup in Hoffman Estates. In case you're not familiar with that, Penny of PJ Knits and Kendra, who I read her comment earlier, hi Kendra, they run this event in Hoffman Estates, Illinois every year. Even if you don't live locally, this is a great one to come to. So my friends across the country, feel free to fly out and come to this event. The cost is your hotel room. So that's it. That's it. It is a free event where bunches of knitters get together, knit and craft. I've seen crochet. I've seen, I don't even know what you call this, like cross stitch and all of the other needle thingies. I've seen people spinning there. Come craft with us. Come fly out and see me. I would love to have more of my viewers come visit. Anyhow, it is on the PJ Knits discussion group on Ravelry. I don't have the dates in front of me, but that's still pretty far off, so I'm sure I will be talking about it more as it approaches. But all that to say, I would like to knit a t-shirt out of this yarn. It is 50-50 wool and cotton. I think it's a great summer blend, and I want to make that t-shirt, and that is a knit along for the event. So I invite you to knit that along with me and all of those of us who are planning to go to the meetup. And then this I saw, I think first. It's Wool of the Andes Roving. And so I thought, oh, I have always wanted to make thrummed mittens. This would be perfect to make thrummed mittens. And I think it might have been on sale. Maybe that's why I decided that. But like all this to get the free shipping. And then this to go with it. My favorite color, this turquoise. This is Muse. It is the Aran weight yarn, and it is, I don't know what it is. Oh, 100% superwash merino wool. So I think this will make great thrummed mittens together with that roving. I have seen some free patterns for thrummed mittens, so that's probably what I'll be using. If anybody has any recommendations for that, please comment below. If you know of anything, I am willing to pay for a pattern if anybody out there has experience and feels like a paid pattern is worth the investment, which is not like a huge investment ever. So that's all of the Knit Picks yarn. Let me move that out of the way. The bag that my, it's such a mess here. The bag that my, Flutter shirt was in is this one that was now underneath the box. So I had to move that box to get the rest of my new to me. Now, check out this bag. This thing, that's the back of it. This is really like heavy. But I thought it was really cool. It came on this ice dyed bag, which is from Distortion Fibers. I did link them below. This is one of my YarnCon buys. I'm going to stand up because this thing is big and I want you to be able to see how big it is. Look at that. Boom. So everything I bought at YarnCon is inside this bag. So, for those of you who are not familiar with the event, it is a yarn selling extravaganza that is held annually at the Plumbers Union Hall in Chicago. And so I've gone there the last couple of years. So everything I bought at YarnCon is inside this bag. And then I also have this bag that I bought. Oh, did I say who I bought this from? Distortion Fibers. It is linked. I feel like I said that. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. But I did think this ice-dyed bag was a very good deal. Very reasonable. For the size that this is, I was like, really? You're selling it for that? Sold. Anyhow, this bag, it is a snap bag. You hear that? You hear that? And inside, you see how it's got like that. You can like make it into a bucket, and then I'm trying to make it so that it will stay open. I haven't done this before yet. There we go. So you see these, like you hook that together and then it will sit open. And then it snaps shut. Now, as I was writing my show notes, I thought, there's no tag on this. No tag at all. I've got nothing that says who the maker of this was. And when I went to YarnCon, I believe I paid cash for it. I have no receipt. So, if anybody knows who this is, would you please comment below to let me know so that I can add it to my show notes so that anybody who's looking for a bag just like this can find one and find this maker online, because I think this is a great bag. Chris, you bought a bag from her, didn't you? Maybe you know. Anyhow. Hi, Chris. Hi, Terry. Hi, Julie. You don't watch. Those are my knit night friends. Anyhow, okay. So my actual first buy at YarnCon, I had told Colleen I was looking for something that would be blacklight reactive, because at my school on the 100th day of school we have glow day, and so in a couple of the classrooms we have black lights and we do glow type events. And so I was thinking I could make something with these. I'm thinking maybe headbands, or like for the boys I could do a wristband. I don't know, I'll figure it out, or most likely I'll forget about it by then or run out of time. But yes, but I also think this should be a very simple project, and I should just, this would be a great summer thing to do. So I should probably get it over with well before it's time to do that. And this was, wait, let me read this. Let me slow down. Knitting Lizard Fibers. And I did link it below. The colorway for this is called Party Time. This is Neon Tweed Sock Minis. 85% superwash merino, 15% neon neps. And 87 yards in each 20-gram hank. Or hankette. That's mini. That's what they call them. Mini. That's, it's Sweet Mountain Crafts. Carista calls them hankettes. Hi, Carista. Okay. This one is a self-striping yarn. I am on a self-striping yarn kick right now, you guys. So this is White Birch Fiber Arts, and it is her self-striping base. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and it is the colorway Deep Blue Dream. Oh, look at that. It matches. I need to knit these and then wear these socks together with my Sea Haven. Next up, we have Look, it matches too. You wouldn't say I have a color palette, would you? So this is Passion Yarns. It is another self-striping, and it is her beloved sock base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 450 yards, colorway 224, and it is called Melody. Linked below. I linked the shops, not the yarns, so I don't know if they still have these in stock. I just know I can get you to the shops. I had been, I'm gonna unravel this whole thing here. Okay, Chris. Hi, Chris. I already said hi to you. She always likes to get sock blanks when she goes to YarnCon. So I was like, I'm stealing that idea. You don't usually see people like showing sock blanks on Instagram or anything like that. And I was like, yeah, shows are the only place you get sock blanks. So I was specifically looking for a 2 at a time sock blank because most of the places just had the single ones, and I wanted 2 at a time because that's how I knit my socks. So I found this one. I love these purples and greens and blues, but truth be known, this was the only one that was a 2 at a time sock blank that I found. This is from Cato Yarn Co. Cato Yarn Co. It is her sock blank, and it's a 75-25 blend, and it is the Wildflowers colorway. So as far as I know, I got the last one, and I linked her shop below, but I don't know whether or not you can get this there. And I think, wait, let me look at my list and see if I'm forgetting anything. Yes. Okay. So the last one, this one, Brenda and Heather Yarns. What you're seeing here is me being frustrated with myself. Nothing else. Oh, it's upside down. Brenda and Heather by Yarns. This is their Go Team Go colorway. I had wanted something that would be red, white, and blue so that I'll be ready for 4th of July this year, because last year I waited until the last minute. I was like really wanting to get some 4th of July yarn. I ordered it on like July 2nd, which I knew I'm not going to have it by the 4th. That's stupid. I don't know why I did it that way, but I wanted this red, white, and blue yarn. This is a 88% superwash, 12% nylon. So that's a base I have never had before. It is 430 yards, so that's plenty of sock room. Especially for a summer sock. I most likely will go with shorties because for 4th of July, I don't need tall socks. But I have been wearing the red, white, and blue socks that I have throughout the year because why not? Anyhow, so I bought this yarn. It was at the end of when we were there. And at some point, I moved the yarn that I bought from my tote bag, not this one, but, one this size that I had gotten from Sandy. So I have one that I keep as my own. And I moved it into this bag. I moved all of my new stuff into this bag. And I did not remember whether this one was there or not, but at any rate, I got home, I could not find this yarn. So I built this thing. My son helped me build this because this had come from Amazon while I was at YarnCon. So when I got home from YarnCon, my son helped me build this, and I had taken out all of the other yarns from it and I like put them on it. And I was like, where is that red, white, and blue yarn? I cannot find it. I texted Colleen because she was with me, wanted to know if she remembered seeing it. I texted Brenda and Heather because I knew they were still at the show, and I was like, I got the last one that didn't have cashmere in it. Is it still in your booth? Did I leave it behind? What happened? I don't know. So they were great about messaging me back. They messaged me twice. Once was, when I first reported that I lost it, they said, we're no longer there, but we'll check again tomorrow, because this was Saturday and they were going back for Sunday for the event. And then Sunday they messaged me again and said, we checked all over the booth. It's not there. We told the people holding the event that if they find it, that, they know who it was that lost it. So if you have a lost and found, please let us know. So anyway, I don't know how it happened, but the next day I picked up this bag and the only thing in the bottom of it was this. And I want to say that was Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember exactly when. But it was, I had looked and looked and looked and could not find it. So I don't know if maybe like the bag was like folded in a way, because this is a really big bag, and it's not stiff material. It's very like, I could see that maybe it folded over on itself and it was like in the folds in the bottom of the bag or something. I don't know, but I felt really dumb when I found it in the bottom of the bag and it was just there. It was baffling to me because I seriously searched for this thing. So anyway, all's well that ends well, right? I even thought, like, to myself, I was like, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. Maybe there was someone out there in the world who needed this red, white, and blue yarn more than I did. It had to have been on Tuesday that I found it, or Monday after school, because I remember telling some coworkers that I lost this yarn. So bizarre. So bizarre. Anyhow, I have it. I'm happy. It was meant to be. Anyhow, if you have stayed this long, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me today. I will try to make it a habit of recording more frequently. I've just been particularly busy recently. And, oh, by the way, I'm trying to remember who the last winner was. The last winner of the Sandy bag, I still have it. It's sitting on my coffee table. I know I had said I'll mail it out Monday, and life got away from me. You know what? I need to prioritize things better. I am not running this podcast like a business. I need to be more organized. I need to get some better decor. This really, it's not doing it for me. Is it doing it for you? Anyhow, remember to like, subscribe, survive, and thrive, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.